Okay, so now we're working on the 3-7 practice. Remember, we do the form G together, and you do the form K, which are like it. Like these instructions are like these instructions. On some of them, they're similar because this just shows you ordered pairs, and this shows you ordered pairs actually on a graph, but you do it the same way. So what we're going to end up doing for this is using the calculator like we did on the reteaching. And the main thing is, remember, you do list and spreadsheet. List and spreadsheet. Okay, so we go over to new document, and then list and spreadsheets number 4, and then you put in your ordered pairs, and you got to put X here and Y here, and our X values are -4 and -1, and our Y values are 4 and 2. Okay, so you put X and Y for your title line, and then your X's go in this column and your Y's go in this column. Once you do that, you go a couple of spaces over. Like I like saying go to D1, the D column and the 1 row. Then you're going to do menu, statistics, stat calculations, and linreg. So that's basically then do menu, stat, and linreg. And then you put X where it says X list and Y where it says Y list. And leave everything else the same and press OK. So when you do that, you have this part, which basically has M equal -0.6, repeat. And it says B equal 1.3, repeat. Now the instructions say just find what the slope is, and so we could stop right there without getting the equation. All we need is the slope. Now the thing is, though, that you need this to be as a fraction, and so here's a little hint on this. If you go to where your slope is, like right there, you can act like it's Excel or Sheets, and you do Control C. So you just press Control, then you press C. Then I go to a completely different part where it says Calculate, and I do Control V to paste it. Now, then you go Menu, Number, Approximate to Fraction. So I basically did Control C to copy, I did Control V to paste, and then I want to go Menu, Approximate to Fraction. If it's e to a negative number, it's really thought of as 0, because this would be point and then 13 zeros with a 5. So just ignore that part, really. Just approximate it to a fraction, and it tells you -2/3. So -2/3 is our answer after all of that. So there is a way, like we just did, to just use your calculator to get your slope. If you'd rather use the formula, because remember there are some tests where you can't use the calculator, that would have been y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And think of the ordered pairs as x1, y1, and x2, y2. So I'm going to do right minus left. 2 minus 4 over -1 plus 4. So there's your -2/3, which is the same thing we got here. So if you'd rather just use your formula, you can, or if you want to use your calculator, you can. Any questions? Okay. Now, on number 2, we have different ordered pairs, and to save some steps, I'm not going to create a new document. From this screen, I just go to current. Current is number 4. Okay? And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to change my ordered pairs, and I have -1. Now, it says overflow, but that's just because I've got 2 that are -1s, because I wasn't really done. -1 and 3 are my x values, and then -1 and 0 are my y values. So it dynamically updated it, so if I just go over here again, it tells me my information. So as long as you didn't overwrite your ordered pairs, you don't have to do the linreg thing again. It's just right there. So we know M is 0.25. And so again, if you really wanted to, you can copy that, Control C, and then go to calculate and paste it and convert that to a fraction. So you get 1/4. So M equal 1/4. And again, if you really wanted to, you could have just figured out up 1 and then right 4. So there's so many different ways you can do this. You know. Any questions? Okay. Now with these, you have ordered pairs without your graphs, and so I just go back to our current document and just change these numbers. 2 and -1, those are my x's, and 3 and -6, those are my y's. So just double check it looks right, and it does. So then go over here. This one gives you 3 for M and -3 for B. All we want is a slope, and so it's going to be the 3. Again, if you'd rather use the formula, you can, but you know, whatever works. Any questions? Okay, so then this one we put -6 and -3 for the x's, and -2 and -6 for the y's. So -6, -2, and -3, -6. Then you just go over here, and now this one you got -1.3 repeat, and so I'm going to copy that and paste it over here, and change it to a fraction, and you get -4/3. So M equal -1.3 repeat, which is -4/3. Any questions about that? Okay. Same idea for number 5. So we just go back to the current, and we put in 2 and 4 for x, and we put in 9 and -7. Then just go over and we get -8. M is -8. Okay, the next part says graph each line. So on this one, you're going to start with the y-intercept. So I'm going to look for 0, -4, and put a dot. And then I I go up 3, right 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. And you can use a straight edge ruler. By the way, if you really wanted to, you could have gone to your document and added a page. This is a little bit extra, but I don't want to mess up this screen. You see where it says 1.1? I don't want to mess that up, and so I want to add a page, which is over here. So I do Control Doc, and I could say Add Graph if I wanted to, and I could say 3x minus 4, enter. So there's the line. And again, if I wanted to, I could just press Control T to get my table. And, you know, we had 2, 2, so you can see that order pair made sense. You know, that's just an alternate way to do it. Any questions? Okay, now on this one we've got, this is in point slope form, which is y minus y1 equal m times x minus x1. So what that means is if you see a negative, it's really positive because it's the opposite of what you think. So this one, you got x minus x1, and so we've got to make this as a -3, comma, +2. And that's going to be our starting point. Go to -3, +2, and put your dot. Now this one has no number in front for your slope, and so we just assume the slope is 1. So that'd be up 1, right 1. Which is the same as down 1, left 1. And then connect them. So there's your graph. Again, if you really wanted to, this is optional. I could have started with y minus 2 equal x plus 3 and then just added 2 and got y equal x plus 5. And so then, you know, 5 and then slope of 1. So these are equivalent forms of the same equation. Just one of them solve for y. So again, there's many ways you could do this. Do whatever's best for you. Any questions? Okay. So now this one, we've got the ordered pair has to be -3, -2, because it's just reversed. And your m equal -4, which means down 4, right 1, or up 4, left 1. So we go to where -3, -2 is, put a dot. And you want to go down 4, right 1. So that gets me to this point. And you know it's going to be up here somewhere, so I'm going to go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't go here because that'd be curved, or a V. So it's just going to be left 1. So starting counting this where you are at 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And then put your arrows. So it kind of looks like that. Any questions? Okay. Now this one says use the given information to write the equation for the line. So since this is the slope and the y-intercept that's given, you want to do y equal mx plus b. And so this is probably the easiest type problem because you know m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. And so you just say y equals 6x plus 4 and you're done. And on this one, y equal negative 1/3 x minus 2. So again, those are the easiest type. On the next one, we're given a couple of points, and so we can go back to how we did it earlier with the calculator. So if you go to here, put I'm going to make 4, 4 this ordered pair, and 1, 2 is this ordered pair, and so you get this. So yeah, 2/3 and 4/3. If you needed to copy those in and convert it, you can, but basically we have 0.6 repeat, which you know is 2/3, and we have 1.3 repeat, which is 4/3, and so our equation is y equal 2/3 x plus 4/3. Don't forget that the x has to go with the slope. And again, if you wanted to check, you could say you're going up 2 and then right 3. Because your slope is rise over run. And then 4/3 means it's a little higher than 1 because it's 1 1/3. So that looks like a reasonable equation. Any questions? Okay, so now we're going to use the ordered pairs for this. And go to your current and just go over here. Put in -2 and +2 for x, and 5 and -1 for y. And so then we know m is -1.5 and b is 2. So if m is -1.5, that's the same as -3/2. So this is -3/2 x plus 2. So again, the directions I'm following are just getting the equation in slope-intercept form. If it tells you to do point slope instead, it's one step harder. So the one step harder part is this. The point slope would be y minus y1 equal m times x minus x1. And so you pick either one. I'm going to pick this one, the 1, 2 ordered pair. So this would be y minus 2 equal 2/3 parentheses x minus 1. So that would be equivalent. And the other one would have been y minus 4 equal 2/3 and then x minus 4. The thing I don't like about the point slope form is they don't tell you if they want this one or this one because they're both equivalent. Okay? Usually they want the one on the left, but sometimes they want the one on the right. It just doesn't matter. So just try either one on your Math Excel. And if it were on paper, like an assignment, I'd accept either of them. Any questions? Okay. I'm not going to go through all of the iterations on this one. I'm going to go to 13 now. So this one we just want to say -2, 0, and 3, 10. Whoops, 3 goes here, and 10. So then you get your M is 2 and your B is 4. So M equal to B equal 4. So y equal 2x plus 4 is your slope intercept. Your point slope would be y minus 0 equal 2 times x plus 2. So y equal 2 times x plus 2. That's called the point slope. So just follow the instructions if you see it on MathXL or on the reviewer test. Any questions? Okay. Then number 14 will be our last one for today. We just got to change this to be 10 and this to be 2 and this to be 2 and this to be -2. So then let's see, 0.5 and -3. M equal 0.5, B equal -3. So y equal 1/2 x minus 3. We'll just keep this in this form, and we'll stop right there.